It's important to realize that when the Jews were allowed to begin reconstruction of their temple in 536 BC, it was a total of, watch this, 6 years, and then the reconstruction came to a hard stop in 530 BC. Then in 530 BC, just 6 years later, their reconstruction came to a hard halt. And then it was not until, I'm going somewhere, 10 years later in 520 BC, when God sent the prophet Haggai to commission them to resume reconstruction. So they began reconstruction that became for 6 years. Then they stopped for 10 years. And God's like, wait, I told you to rebuild your life. I told you to rebuild your destiny. I told you to rebuild your purpose. But it came to a stop. So God sends a prophet like he always does when he wants to speak to his people and say, Haggai, I'm sending you, go and prophesy to my people. It's time to resume the reconstruction. Now, if they had been building for 6 years and stopped, right? And but Haggai didn't come to 10 years later for them to resume. Well, then that means they had been stopped longer than they had been working. They had been working for 6 years but stopped for 10. What does the prophet Haggai do to know that he is dealing with the people who are more familiar with being off than being on? Wow. I just want to know, have you ever had a season in your life where you were more off than on? Hallelujah. Your money was more off than on. Your relationships was more off than on. Your mind was more off than on. Your prayer life was more off than on. Your spirit man was more off than on. And it was just hard to just kick back in gear.